Waitress stands up for a veteran. Seconds later, the whole restaurant gasps. The lunchtime rush at Millie's diner was in full swing. The hum of conversation, the clinking of silverware, and the sizzle of a hot grill filled the air. Among the flurry of movement, Emily Carter wove through the crowd, balancing plates with practiced ease. She had worked at the small-town diner for years, but today would be one she would never forget. Near the window, an elderly man sat alone. His back was straight despite his frail frame, and his worn military cap, embroidered with the words Vietnam Veteran, rested atop his silver hair. He quietly studied the menu, his hands trembling slightly as he flipped the pages. Emily noticed him the moment he walked in. She had a soft spot for veterans. Her grandfather had served, and she knew how often their sacrifices went unnoticed. As she approached, she caught snippets of hushed voices from a nearby table. "Why is he even here?" a man in a sharp suit muttered. "Probably looking for a handout." His friend chuckled. "Yeah. Bet he's gonna ask for a veteran's discount like he owns the place." Emily's stomach tightened. She forced herself to keep moving, but the words stung. She knew that kind of prejudice all too well. When she reached the veteran's table, she greeted him with a warm smile. "Good afternoon, sir. Can I get you something to drink?" The man looked up, his blue eyes kind but weary. "Just a coffee, miss." "And, what's the cheapest thing on the menu?" Emily's heart clenched. She recognized the quiet dignity in his voice, the way he hesitated just enough to let her know he was carefully counting every dollar. Before she could answer, the suited man at the next table snickered. "Cheapest thing? Maybe they should start charging for water." That was it. Emily's patience snapped. She turned to the man, her voice steady but firm. "Sir, I think you dropped something." The man raised an eyebrow. "What?" Emily met his gaze without flinching. "Your respect." The restaurant fell silent. Conversation stopped. Forks hovered midair. The suited man's smirk faded, and his friend coughed awkwardly. Emily took a deep breath and continued, her voice carrying through the diner. "This man wore a uniform and put his life on the line for people he never even met, including you. The least we can do is show a little gratitude." A moment of heavy silence followed. Then, something unexpected happened. A burly truck driver at the counter set down his mug and stood. "Put his meal on my tab." A woman in scrubs, probably a nurse coming off a long shift, spoke up. "Mine too. And a slice of pie." Another voice joined in. "Make it a full meal. He deserves it." One by one, people in the restaurant started stepping forward. An older couple pitched in for dessert. A teenage boy in a fast food uniform pulled out a few crumpled bills. Even a mother with a baby on her hip offered to cover his coffee. Tears welled in the veteran's eyes. His hands trembled again, but this time, it wasn't from age, it was from overwhelming emotion. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Emily reached for his hand and gave it a reassuring squeeze. "Sir, this meal is taken care of. But more importantly, we just want to say, thank you for your service." The whole restaurant erupted into applause. The suited man, now red-faced, mumbled something unintelligible and hastily threw some cash on his table before slipping out the door. Emily turned back to the veteran, who wiped at his eyes and chuckled softly. "You didn't have to do that, young lady." "Yes, we did," she said with a smile. "And I'd do it again." As she walked away to place his order, the air in Millie's diner felt different, warmer, lighter. People were smiling at each other, nodding in quiet understanding. One small act of kindness had turned a simple lunch into something extraordinary. And for the rest of the day, the world felt just a little bit kinder.